but they should like look inward, check what they did last year. We know most of the players are there precisely, and see how they can come out tops and all that. And if they can do that, definitely that would be cool. Starting with the game against Mali on Saturday, which is really going to be a huge one for them. And if they can win that, get all the 3 points, then they start from there. But losing your first game is not really the very best way to go, because under pressure, because these are players that are not really experienced when it comes to that aspect. But if you have more experienced players with them, they know how to pick up themselves. But once you don't have players like that, it's always very, very difficult. But for me, I think the players that we have are just good to go, but not, we shouldn't expect so much.
Okay, well, that's Sisi giving you our own opinion about the 2014 African Nations Championship. Don't expect too much. The guys are good, but, you know, keep your expectations at a very moderate level, and maybe we might just end up winning the gold. But Sisi, let's still stay with the national teams. Give us an update on the Falcons. There's a funny story. I mean, it's happening in Africa. It's a recurring nations withdraw, lack of funds. Some of our teams don't even get the chance to test their might, and they are through to the next round.
The Flamingos started it first when the opponent didn't come, so them pulling out and all that. Of course, they qualified, and we're even afraid that we don't even know what they're going to give us in March. Now is the Super Falcons. Super Falcons, about 30 players were called to camp. They were expected to be in camp 13th of this month for the game against Sierra Leone, and now we heard that with a letter sent from the Sierra Leone Football Federation Association to CAF, and of course CAF copied Nigerian Football Federation General Secretary saying that they are pulling out simply because they don't have the money. Now immediately I saw the letter, the first thing that came to my mind was, I remember Sierra Leone in November. Remember what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, when the Falcons actually, that's the under-20 national team, defeated them in Sierra Leone 6-0, and before that they came to Abuja in October. It was 10-0. I'm sorry, this is a funny feeling, but I'm having a feeling that maybe because of the 16 goals that precisely and get beaten. So that's the reason you said that. Okay, so I didn't say that.
I don't know. Do you support that conspiracy theory?
No, I don't. I totally don't. I think the game of football is a fair game. You know, and you can't judge, you know, one game by the previous game. You know, every game is a new game, and this is another level. That was on the 20. This is the national team. So
there's a point. You know, usually in the women's national team, the bulk of their under-20 players make up the national team player. Check national team players. Check the Super Falcons and check the Falconets. Most of the players at Falconets make up
both teams. Yeah,
the Super Falcons.
So
precisely. So that I'm sorry. That's just an aside anyway.
Okay.
But for you to get beaten 16 goals on aggregate without you even replying, at home 6-0, away 10-0, and you know you're lacking some funds, so they feel maybe they can channel that resources to, you know, actually use it for something else. Instead of get beaten and coming to your home, guys. And also
before we leave the Falcons and travel abroad, your final take on this one. Let me start with Femi. Is it going to affect them in any way? They're going to the final round for the qualifiers 2014 African Women's Championship. They've not been really tested. Their might has not been tested. So does this in any way affect them?
Yeah, it would, because the competitive spirit is not there yet. You know, they are just training, they are not playing anything.
Coach probably does not even know his team.
Exactly, and you know, the coach, just exactly what was on my mind. You know, the coach doesn't have an idea of, okay, who and who should I use, you know, in this situation, you know. And then we are going to the final round, and the final round is always going to be very dicey because it is winner takes all.
Yes.
So, and it's not time for experiment. So I think it would affect to some point, but the coaches, I'm sure they know what they're doing, and they know the players they can work with, because a bulk of these players play, you know, for, you know, the Delta Queens, you know, of this world, and the Rivers Angels, so they know themselves very well. So yes, a good advantage, you know, because they play together. But however,
some cohesion, man.
Yes. However,
but if you check, Edunokonu, the coach of the Super Falcons, happens to be the coach of Rivers Angels. So about 8 of the players from Rivers Angels were invited to camp, and of course we have 5 from Delta Queens and all that, and two from each other club. So knowing these players very well, you've coached them. You know, Rivers Angels actually won Confederations Cup, and the Nasarawa Amazons, who were runner-up, we also have some players from there also making bulk of the Super Falcons team. Judging from the fact that he knows these players very well, he has coached some of them, I think he should know the players he's speaking. For him to have released, at first he said 40, but later he narrowed it down to 30. So that shows that definitely he knows the players he wants. And if you check the opponents you're meeting in the final round, is either Kenya or Rwanda, wait for them and all that. But I think these are really not countries. I was surprised. I was about 26 teams actually, you know, that have registered for the African Women Championships. That's a record, you know, that's a record thing. But Kenya, Rwanda, anyone we meet, I don't really think they're strong opponents for Nigeria. It's just a sad one that we're playing this preliminary and all that. But at least since we were not able to play it, which is really a good one, because that's not where the Super Falcons belong to. Usually we start from the main final round and not this preliminary, which is really not a good one at all.
Let's travel abroad now. Take you to the English Premier League, where we just talked about players coaches choosing players they're familiar with. Let's talk about new Cardiff manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and what he's been doing. Some good results at the start, and it's brought new players. Remember, we're at that period of the season where a lot of speculations, a lot of players move, speculations about players that are going to move, some eventually stay put. But let's listen to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he's doing for Cardiff, and the new player is brought to the club.
No, I'm very happy that I've joined the club now, and it looks like a nice place as well. A little bit of rain, but I'm used to that. So well with Molde, he got them winning, got us winning the title for first time in 100 years, and then second time, and then he won the gold in the cup. So he's been very influential for me, and I hope he can just keep the same things there.
Well, that was Magnus Ikrim, the new player for Cardiff City, brought by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and try to turn around the fortunes of the club. Let's see how that will pan out. Let's talk about a player. It's funny that we'll be talking about this player in the way we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about Jermaine Defoe. I don't know. I'm not sure that is true. But maybe you guys can feel me. Let me start with Femi. Should the player of Jermaine Defoe's quality, should we even be talking about him moving over to Canada, MLS, all those kind of places?
Well, one, he's not playing football and he wants to play.
Precisely.
Okay. That's why he wants to move to the MLS. Two, he needs money. And I'm sure MLS will give him good money for playing. And of course,
has he got into that period in his career?
Hollywood style.
Has he got into that period in his career where it has to be money over, the club he plays for?
Well, for him, I think so, because if you look at it, I don't think he can get into that 3-Lion squad anymore. There are a lot of young
players. That's the only thing that can keep him in England.
Yes, that's the only thing that can keep him in England, because you want to play for
your
3 Lions and you want to go to the World Cup. I think he has seen that his chances of playing for the country is very limited, and of course he's not playing at club level too for Tottenham Hotspur. So how AVB ostracized him,
so just take the money and go.
It's just like let me look for somewhere else. And of course everybody wants to go to the MLS now. There's money there.
Good money.
Yeah, good money.
Real good money.
And the pressure is really not much,
Pressure is less.
The pressure is less.
And also you can always come on loan, to the English Premier League.
Because Landon Donovan,
exactly.
what most of those players. But
and even David Beckham most times.
Let me allow you guys speculate a little bit before we go and break. Which players in your book might be making that switch at this period? Some of those star players, you think might just be moving?
January transfer window is always very cagey.
Yes.
You can't just pick out exactly one player that would make a surprise move, but I'm sure a lot of players will be moving at the summer. I am very sure that top quality players will be moving at summer. But right now, nobody wants to let any player go. We're hearing of Fabio Contrao leaving Real Madrid. We hear Manchester United are still tailing. Ancelotti saying he's not ready to deal, with any players going out. But probably one player that might make a move is Lamela, of Tottenham. He's not playing well too, and of course a host of clubs, in Italy are seeking for a signature. He played for Roma before. Roma are interested, but Juve looks likely to be the team that might likely get him. So I think if there's any big player that might move, he might not call him a big player, but he came in for £30 million. So that's big money.
That's big money. Yes.
So I think he might just be the player that might just move back to Italy, and that might be just player.
See, anybody in your books?
Yeah, I think Shane is really not playing so well at West Brom like he was before last season. I'm thinking that he might just make the move. And also, I don't know Juan Mata. I don't know how happy he is anyway. At Chelsea, he's not playing. He sits most time on the bench. I think that player really want to engineer a move away from Stamford Bridge. And also, I'm looking at Kagawa. I'm looking at Zaha. Zaha might go on loan from Man United because he's not playing. He wanted to play good football. Kagawa is not fitting in into Man United. I mean, that's another player I think might just leave. I think